August 1945. A simple office employee, Eiso Nomura, went down to the archive in the basement. 1 minute later, 170 meters away, the first ever nuclear bomb was dropped. It was Hiroshima. Everyone else in this building died this day, but Eiso Nomura lived 37 extra years, pretty much healthy years, and died in the age of 84. Today, I want to talk about how to keep hope in this escalating political situation, and most importantly, how to survive in possible nuclear war. Tip number 1. In any unclear situation, leave the city. There are less than 5,000 nuclear warheads in the world, and this is a joint arsenal of 9 countries of the nuclear club: China, France, India, Pakistan, Israel, Russia, United States, United Kingdom, and North Korea. Naturally, these missiles will be spent only on large and strategically important objects. And since there are more than 2.5 million cities in the world, it's not possible to bomb them all. And surely, no one will ever waste weapons for the countryside. Therefore, the purchase of nice house in the village does not seem such a stupid investment in the moment. Worst case scenario, I strongly recommend you to buy a tent and plant some nice tree in the woods. Just in case, check if there are any secret or military facilities, factories, and energy enterprises nearby, because they might be bombed too. Tip number 2. If you can't leave the city or simply miss the moment, then the best way to survive a nuclear strike is to hide in the basement, which has iron and concrete walls and ceiling. Eiso Nomura in Hiroshima survived just like that. A nuclear explosion has 3 main mechanisms of destruction: a shock wave, a flash of visible and infrared radiation, and gamma radiation. The radius for heavy destruction shock wave for Hiroshima bomb was 340 meters. The diameter of the zone of medium destruction was 3.5 kilometers. It must be remembered that bombs explode on approach and not at the moment of contact with the objects, because the energy of explosion would be blocked by the faults of the terrain and buildings. Nomura got into the zone of medium destructions. Despite this, he did not die. The ceiling of the basement protected him. Gamma radiation is extremely dangerous. It can pass through many objects, but it is unable to pass too far. The higher the city, the higher the bomb explodes, and the air absorbs most of the radiation. In Hiroshima, the radiation radius was about 2 kilometers, but we understand that there were many buildings, concrete and iron structures, which absorbed radiation and saved our man. A flash of visible and infrared radiation after nuclear explosion can burn our skin and blind our eyes, but it does not pass through concrete, iron, and any dense material. Long story short, basements are your friends. You can hide in the special bomb shelter, metro station, or the one you have in your own building. If you cannot hide and you miss the siren or something else, then first thing first, if you hear something suspicious, fall to the ground face down. It will save you from burns and will protect your sight, so in the future later you can find a shelter. Because if you survived a nuclear explosion, there is a little chance of dying in the future from the radiation consequences. Tip number 3. Stock up the food and especially water. I mean, it's really important. The fact is that radiation contamination after the explosion decreases 10 times within a week. Accordingly, it's possible to go out right after the bombing, but it's better to wait out in order to completely protect yourself. If the wreckage of the building is burning above your basement, or there is a strong smell of gas, it makes sense to think about changing the place. In other cases, it all depends solely on the availability of food and water, what you managed to save. Now, then you know how to survive, let me to dispel you very ridiculous myths what we very often see in Armageddon kind of movies. Myth number 1. Nuclear power plants will be the first and most dangerous targets. That's not true at all. We all watched the HBO series and it was amazing, but you have to understand that the real numbers were about 40 people died directly during the accident and few thousands died decades later from oncology and remote causes. Of course, it was a terrible tragedy, but it's not capable of destroying an entire civilization. Plus, we remember that rockets explode on the approach, but even if they are configured to explode at the surface, the nuclear reactor is underground, protected by containment building. Therefore, neither the shock wave nor radiation can harm the reactor from the outside. We remember that Chernobyl accident happened from the inside, and as soon as there is a threat of bombing or even the bombing itself, the system will shut down the reactor automatically and immediately. Myth number 2. If we don't die directly from bombing, then nuclear winter will finish us. No. Small recall, the idea of nuclear winter was not invented by scientists. It appeared in 1947 by writer Paul Anderson, and with all due respect to this great and amazing writer, he was talking and writing about a hypothetical future with unknown but way more bigger nuclear arsenal than we have right now. If the countries massively had ammunition of 10 gigatons each, and if there were thousands of such ammunitions, a total 10 million megatons, then yes, there would be a certain possibility of decreasing the temperature on the planet. In this case, the amount of dust raised into the stratosphere would be large enough to cause a serious drop in temperature, so-called nuclear winter. But in reality, the entire deployed nuclear arsenal of the nuclear club is a few thousand megatons. That's why no one in science has ever considered the idea of nuclear winter to be true. Although in ages some researchers suggested that if not the explosions themselves, then the fires from the burning forests and the cities could carry a lot of ash into the stratosphere. This will be able to cool the planet for years, turning summer into winter and normal winter into winter in Arctic. However, in 1991, Saddam Hussein set fire to many Kuwait oil wells at once, starting a kind of scientific experiment. So, there was an article in Nature making a statement that Hussein will reduce the overall temperature by 10 degrees. But even this did not happen. The ash and smoke from very large and prolonged oil fires did not rise above 6 kilometers. From there, it was quickly washed out by precipitation, and no temperature drop ever happened. Myth number 3. After nuclear war, the mutants will destroy our species. There are not any documentations which will prove the rise of any kind of mutations in the animal world after Hiroshima or Chernobyl. And believe me, I tried to find them because I'm a huge fan of X-Men and I was, kind of looking for a monster of the week from the X-Files. But there is none. It will be a very difficult world to live in, but there will be life. So don't give up. Keep your hopes up and of course, live long and prosper.